If you can be a good salesman, you can write your own check. Ciao guys, Cullen Gandy here, and welcome to my channel where I talk about business, all of my misadventures in business, personal finance, mortgage finance, and just general lifestyle. So if you like to talk about any of those things, you're at the right place because I love talking about it with you. Today I want to talk a little bit about how I came up with my sales philosophy and how it became really successful with me, because I think a lot of people don't really grow up wanting to be salesmen and women when they're kids. However, I remember when I was growing up with my mom, who is a realtor, I remember being constantly annoyed by how she would always just repeat herself, give me her opinions, and follow up with me if there was a task that she really wanted me to do. Lo and behold, when I grow up and I'm a salesman, I found out that this is actually a really effective way to get clients to engage with you and to get more referrals. By the way, guys, if you like content like this, be sure to leave me a like, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so I can bring more content like this to you. Plus, it helps me immensely with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks so much. My family always used to tell me when I was a kid, if you can be a good salesman, you can write your own check. Now, I didn't really understand that then, but I do understand it now that I'm engaging with more clients. As I kind of fell into the sales industry, what I found out is that there's a lot of things that are really going to affect whether or not you make a sales transaction just in that first split second of when you're talking to somebody. If you're looking to up your sales and get into the industry and be successful, the very first and very most important thing that you're going to have to do is give yourself permission to go up to somebody that you don't know and engage them. If you're like me, before, I really wouldn't want to go up to somebody and start up a conversation. I don't know if it's an American thing or if it's just a general introvert thing, but it also kind of made me petrified to talk to people I don't know, even if I really had to talk to them for some really, really good reason. But when you give yourself that mental permission to go up to somebody that you don't know and strike up the conversation, let them know that you have a product or service that might help them out, usually, more often than not, they're gonna react positively or at least give you a neutral wave. I'm not one of those guys that started out reading a lot of sales books and taking a lot of marketing classes to get where I am in this industry. So everything that I learned was on the ground, in the field, talking to potential clients. The philosophy that I've come up with, I call customer alignment. And it has to do with all of the things that I've done that I see are getting back a good response. The first way that I've found to be able to align myself with a potential customer or client is to make a really, really good impression. And there's several ways that you can do that. The first way is you just kind of want to look presentable, try to make yourself as attractive to the person as you can by dressing appropriately for the situation, having good hygiene, and generally not being somebody that repulses people when you're approaching them. Because you want people to be attracted to not only your product, but you want them to be attracted to you for long enough to at least listen to what you have to say. The second, and I think one of the most important parts of this system, is to match verbal and nonverbal cues. So you have to match body language and you have to match the general sentiment of how people are experiencing wherever the setting is that you're having the experience with them. For example, when I worked at Air and Square, which is a company that sells flight compensation representation to clients going to or from Europe, if they're delayed more than 3 hours, they're supposed to be due 600 euro. Now, a lot of people don't know that. So when I would go to the airport, I would buy the ticket and I would go in and I would sell these people this representation for basically free, because it's money that they didn't even know that they were entitled to. When you're going to the airport and when you're selling these people, you realize a couple of things fairly quickly. One, if they're in the airport and they're delayed for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, none of these people are particularly happy to be there. So if you can capitalize on the situation that you're all kind of in the same terrible experience together, there's this effect of sort of what I call commiseration, in that you're all there together and you're all having the same experience and you just happen to be the guy or the girl that's going to get the ball rolling to help get them at least a little bit of relief. 2, you're matching body language. Often they would be sitting in these low-hanging bucket seats of the airport, and they would be looking on their cell phones or taking a nap sometimes even. So when I would go up, I would present myself and immediately go down and kneel down to whatever level they were on. Subconsciously, this gives them a sort of empathy response with you. If you're both on the same level, subconsciously, yeah, you're both in the same situation. Another thing that comes part and parcel for when you're trying to match a customer's energy is you have to be really well spoken. You have to be able to articulate yourself in a conversation, and also when you're explaining and answering questions. Now, being well spoken and being super confident in your body and voice is going to transfer over really, really well to the second part of this philosophy, which is to know your product or service really well and be able to explain it as if you were talking to a child. When you're explaining it effectively, you can avoid a lot of the pitfalls that you're going to have with a potential client when they don't understand a certain aspect of what you're trying to sell them. So try to make it really simple. And you can pick up on these nonverbal cues as well when they're not understanding things. Like, for example, if you're talking about a certain aspect of your product or service and you see that their eyes are sort of furrowing and they're shaking their head like they don't understand, you can cut right to the chase and be able to address some of the problems and solicit a lot of their questions for them. That's going to show them, 1, that you're paying attention to their needs and their understanding of things, and 2, that you're somebody that's keyed in to what they want and what they need. Now, the next part of my philosophy, and the one that I suspect is going to make the most people uncomfortable, is to be shamelessly following up constantly. Always be polite, but always be following up. When I sell my mortgages to these clients at InterFirst and when I was selling folks on Aaron Square, I would approach them, I would give them my pitch, and you make them say either 1, hey, I gotta think about it. Usually when they say they think about it, they just want you to go away, right? So you say, okay, yeah, think about it. A lot of times when people doubt you or are mistrustful of you, when they see that other clients are actually responding positively and getting good feedback from you, chances are that that's going to let them know that there's this social proof for what you're doing, and you can get them to come back to the fold, right? You can get them to come and get your product after the fact. So don't waste too much time on each individual client. If you just see that you're not making that much headway, that's when you go back to that client and you sort of follow up with them. You say, hey, I've been around talking to some of the other passengers. I gave you a little bit of time. I was just wondering if you had any concerns. Let me help you with anything. You've got to make sure that they have to tell you that they don't want it, right? Because that's when you have to address some of their issues. Or you just cut your losses. And it's very important not to take any of it personally. You're just a businessman, you're there to do business, and if they don't want it, hey, that's not a big deal to you, because you got other things that you can do. So always be following up, always be closing. And I think this last part is especially important for the salesperson themselves, which is just to let it roll off your back. You have to be comfortable with the idea that you're not gonna sell everybody, and that not everybody's gonna buy what you're selling. If you found a product that you know that a lot of people are going to like, you don't need to waste your time so much on the people that are going to be mistrustful of you, because there's going to be 3 or 4 or 5 others that you're going to be able to sell in their stead. But the phrase that encapsulates this entire sales philosophy is summed up in this: what's happening to you is happening to us. By the end of your sales pitch and the sales transaction, once you get what you've came there to get, you have to make the client feel like you're part of a relationship now. You're part of a professional relationship, and you're part of a common experience. And if you've done your job right, you followed all these steps, then you're gonna make them feel really comfortable with your product and your service, and you're gonna get the sale. So after doing several different sales jobs, some of them that paid better or some of them that were more fun than others, I feel like I should call my mom and thank her for annoying me so much as a kid, because I used her as a template for a lot of the success that I've had selling people in the present. I hope that some of these tips can help you take your sales to the next level, and if you have any questions or concerns, let me know in the comments below what are some of the things that you're experiencing when you're trying to pitch your clients. And let me know if you have any ideas for other topics and other videos that I can do so that we can both get on that journey together to get better results in business and in life. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in many future videos. And as always, if you liked this video, please go ahead and hit that like button, smash the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Ciao.